He's 4 months old now, right?
Yep.
Okay, so let's start with the equipment. Now, this collar is strictly a translator that speaks his language. But another thing is this, remember, dogs don't have emotions. Emotions, okay? So, he's 4 months old now, right?
Yep.
Okay, or just a little over 4 months?
Yeah, like a week or
Yep.
so.
All right, so the thing about training a dog is it's about learning how to properly communicate to your dog in a way that he understands and respects, and understanding why we do what we do. And that's what we're going to talk about first, okay? Because the actual lesson of his first walk, of him actually kind of learning it and me introducing the prong collar to him and stuff like that, we may only do it 15 to 20 minutes because this is so new to him. And when a dog is learning something new for the first time, it's really mentally stressful, okay? And it'll wear them out super fast. And obviously, the younger they are, the faster they can wear out. So it's kind of like a person that is studying for exams, at college or preparing for something where you're just constantly mentally going. You're going to get to the point where you just don't really have anything, or you start going backwards, right, in your mental capacity. So let's start with the equipment. Now, this collar is strictly a translator that speaks his language, okay? So this collar is not what makes him mind. It's a big thing out there where some people, they will look at this on the shelf of a store and they'll be like, okay, that's the prong collar. If my dog pulls into it, it's going to stop him from pulling, which is what they want, right? But that's not the case, okay? This collar is a correction collar, which means that I now need to show you and teach you how to use it, so that way you can let him know when he's wrong. So this is about a conditioning process over time, where you're going to learn today how to start guiding him through. So in the beginning, anytime we're teaching a dog something new, and they obviously don't know what it is required of them, right? New rules. If we go back to Pavlov theory, it's an association. Well, with this isn't an association with sound, like Pavlov's experiment, okay? Where the bell went off, the food came down, the dog ate.
Right.
This is about positioning. Okay, so you're right-handed?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to teach him to walk on the left side.
Right.
Now, when we do that, we have to then take into consideration, why do dogs repetitively do what they do? They only do it because they believe it's going to benefit them. We talked about that in the puppy evaluation, right? So if you ever see him do anything on a regular basis, all you have to do is be like, how is that, to learn your dog more, how is that benefiting him? Well, it benefits him in his mind because it promotes survival, right? The whole, where am I safe, what's expected of me, and where's my food, right? So when you first brought him in here, even though he's already been in here before, but he was really young, and I think that no, because I walked him in here, but when he came in, he was like, oh, this is a new area. Instantly, he went, where am I safe? Right? Is there a boogeyman in here? And that's why I said, just walk in.
Okay.
We don't wait for our dogs to figure it out on their own. Because one of two things would have happened right there. He would have either gotten over it and moved forward, which is fine, or he would have turned tail and tried to run to get away, right? Avoidance, submission, fight or flight. So this is a process of him starting to learn that when he follows us on our left side, this is a completely, totally wonderful place to be, and it's 100% safe. And anything outside of that position is unsafe, which is where this comes in.
Okay.
This is our way to speak his language to let him know he's wrong. Well, the way that this collar works, it's a mechanical collar that when you give a pop release, it comes together, pinches the skin, and goes back to normal. Okay? Which allows us to make as soft a correction as we need or as hard of a correction as we need. Right? So in the beginning, because he doesn't know what's expected of him, never will it be a hard correction.
Okay.
What we're going to do, and when I introduce it to him, it's not really going to be corrections at all. But just remember that anytime there's tension on the line, your leash to your dog, that's pressure, no matter what, okay? Because it's communication just through the leash and the prong collar. And from now on, never will the leash be on without the prong collar.
Okay.
Okay? So when you go to take the leash off, you just take the prong collar off,
Okay.
put it somewhere with the leash hanging on it, and you go to put your leash back on, you just put the prong collar back on. And the reason why is because the rules of the walk is that whether you walk 2 feet or 2 miles, as long as you're moving, he has to be on your left side, whether it's inside the home or outside the home. So the reason for that is because if we're going to require him to walk on our left side, we have to be fair. And the only way to be fair is to be black and white. Now I'll show you how to break that structure of the walk, right? Where now it's time to potty him on leash or just let him relax being on a leash. Maybe you go to sit on a park bench, or maybe you want to love on him and play with him and stuff like that, but the leash needs to stay on. That's just a matter of changing our position, the position of our body to our dog.
Okay.
So what that looks like is this. The walk, remember when I said there's no verbal to it? Okay? It's because the walk, when we're walking, we're in parallel with our dog. Okay? That is the command.
Okay.
We have the leash, we start moving, they have to follow.
So we don't give a command, a verbal command.
Exactly.
Okay.
The biggest reason why is because you can actually, because you are not a professional handler,
Yeah.
I want to eliminate as much inconsistency as possible. You'll watch people, walk their dogs, and they're constantly heel, walk. They're giving some type of command or talking to their dogs. And one of two things is going to happen. They're either going to be inconsistent, which is going to create some type of unfairness in there somewhere because the dog is like, which one do I listen to, right? Which one is the important sound? Because they don't understand our words. Or you end up not saying it because you forgot, right? It's just there's going to be some inconsistencies there if we use a verbal command for the walk. But we're also not asking him to do something that isn't natural in the first place. We already talked about how he came from the wolf, right? Not through evolution, but through breeding. So if we look at how a wolf pack works, when they're all just hanging out and kind of maybe it's hot out and the alpha's in the shade and the rest of the pack is doing whatever, they're always paying attention to him. Always. Why? Because without him, they won't survive. Because then another alpha has to come up. But while the alpha is there, he's the one that is answering the 3 questions that all dogs have, all wolves have. What's expected of me? Where am I safe? And where's my next meal? So when the alpha stands up and starts moving, like starts to go migrate somewhere, he doesn't stand up and go, all right, everybody, listen up. This is what we're going to do, right? He just gets up and starts walking. Because of his importance to them, they start following him.
Okay.
That's what we're doing. Because remember, dogs are either hunting, tracking, or migrating at any given time. Anytime you ever look at your dog, he's doing one of those 3 things. And probably just going back and forth, back and forth, from thing to thing, right? So when you see him stand up say he's laying down, he stands up, he walks over and lays down over here. All he did was migrate,
Okay.
okay? But if he stands up and starts sniffing around, now he's tracking. He's concentrating solely on his nose.
Okay.
When you see him out and about and you're walking him and he's out in front of you or he's off leash and he's out on your property running around,
Yeah.
he's going between hunt mode, track mode, migration mode. Because hunt mode is looking for prey and looking for threats. The tracking is solely concentrating on a smell and trying to figure out the source of that smell.
Okay.
And then migration, like I said, is just him either sitting, laying down, sleeping, or you just watch him walk from here to there, and that was it.
Okay.
Okay? So when we walk with our dog, now you're starting to learn the importance of showing him that he has to follow you. He has to be in migration mode. Because when you go for a walk with your dog, all you're doing is you're going from point A to point B. But if he's following you in migration mode and you set that standard, now how is he viewing you? As the alpha, as the leader. So therefore, it's a completely natural thing, okay, for him to do. All you're doing is taking the leadership role because like we talked about in the puppy evaluation, if you don't take the leadership role, by nature, he has to because he's a pack animal.
Right.
So because of his breed and because you want to be able to give him the best life possible and all that kind of stuff, you're going to learn how to become the leader so that way you can answer for him what's expected of him, where is he safe, and where's his next meal. And the walk answers all three of those. Okay? The food is the no-brainer we feed our dogs. But when we're walking a dog on leash and they're following us on our left side, we're telling them, what's expected of you right now? Well, you have to be in migration mode, now you're going to follow me. Okay? So that's letting him know what's expected of him in the moment. Also, where is he safe? He's safe here, not here.
Okay.
Okay? So, do you have any questions on that so far? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the prong collar on him. I'm going to fit it properly to him. As he grows, I'm going to show you what you look for in order to add another link. Because if it's too big, because it's mechanical collar, if it's too big, it won't work properly. If it's too tight, it won't work properly. So that'll be important because, I mean, he's 4 times the size of the last time I saw him. He's one of those breeds that's just going to grow so fast. So also, when you do walk him and you're working him in this, because for right now, you won't do any walks outside of training, which means that you'll do about a 15, 20-minute walk every day, 5 to 6 times a week. Or not 5 to 6 times a day, but once a day, 5 to 6 times. He needs a day or 2 off of the week where he doesn't have to worry, right? He can just, it's a nice relaxing time. Whichever days those are in the week for you is going to be the one where you're less likely to go out with him, okay? That's the way I would do it. So, but another thing is this, remember, dogs don't have emotions.
Don't have what?
Emotions,
Oh.
okay?
Right.
So never once is he going to sit there and go, man, why aren't we going for a walk today? Or if you leave the house, why are you not taking me, right? They're an in-the-moment animal without the ability to reason, and it's only the ability to reason that actually causes the emotions.
Right.
So every single time you've been happy, excited, sad, it's because of your ability to reason, right? So if when my dad passed away, I was sad. Why? Because I knew I wasn't going to see him again. He was now out of my life, right?
Right.
So it took reasoning to create that. But if somebody I don't know passes away, it's still somebody who died, but I have no knowledge of anything about them that can create reason for that sadness.
Right.
So for dogs, when we see things that look like they're sad or excited, it's only because we as humans are trying to figure out what's going on with them, and we are reasoning in our own knowledge of how things work and how people work. So we project that onto the dog. Now that's a really good thing as far as the dog's not having emotions, okay? Because if you think about all the different relationships you've ever had in your life, or you've seen relationships fall apart with other people, majority of the time, it was due to the ability to reason. That person wasn't a very good friend. They didn't treat me very well. All of this kind of stuff. And the next thing you know, you have a relationship that falls apart. You can be completely wrong 90% of the day, but the last 10%, when you call him up on the couch with you to lay in your lap so you can love on him, as long as you don't do any of that other stuff there, he will always do that. Why? Because he'll only repetitively do in what benefits him. And it benefits him to be there because that is a perfect position of safety as long as you're not doing something that is hurting him, right? So that's why the dog has the title man's best friend.
Has what?
The title man's best friend, the nickname, right?
Right.
It's because they're always there. It doesn't matter what's going on. You could have been abusive to your dog in one situation, but then over here you haven't been, and they're totally fine with it. Okay? So we want to go into this knowing when you're handling him and it's not quite working out the way you want, and you start getting frustrated, you can't. Because he can't process our emotions.
Right.
So when people say, but when I'm sad, my dog comes up to me, right? And they're trying to comfort me. Well, that's fine in that moment if they think that. But that's such a small, small amount of our lives when that happens. But we are leading our dogs. So say that 1% of our life, we had a bad day, and we're really thankful that our dog is coming, to comfort us. But 98% of the day, or 99% of the day, we're leading our dog. So we do have to know what the truth is. I know what the truth is, and if I've had a day where I'm working dogs and they're like super bad nerve structures and it's been a struggle and I'm tired, I want to go into the house and be reminded that dogs are really cool, and dogs are guidable and smart and stuff. And so I use my dog for those moments, as well. So, which obviously just benefits him even more. So if you're ever at a time where you're working him and you're starting to get a little irritated, you have to put him away.
Okay.
Take a step back, clear your mind,
Right.
be like, okay, I need to be the leader that my dog needs me to be right now, which means that I can't act off of my emotions, right? So, any questions so far? Okay. Come on, let's go. Come on. Hey, right. So then I come to a stop. But see what I did right there? Okay, go ahead and walk. And keep walking until I say.